Okay, coming back to nervous system regulation, to start off with, we need to understand what's going on inside of our body. So I call this the nervous system switchboard. Sorry for my spelling. We're going to start over with our sensory input first. This is kind of like a switchboard. So if it's too high, it's overstimulated. If it's too low, it's understimulated. And what we're trying to figure out is kind of like our natural resting state. These are our senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. We also have vestibular, which is like your sense of balance. So, like, how some people really like swinging on a swing, where some people it makes them feel sick to their tummies. Proprioception is your understanding of where your body is in space. So, like, professional athletes are very, very good at proprioception. If you are not, you trip and fall all the time. And then interoception, that's the concept of your understanding of your internal systems, like that you can tell when you're hungry, you can tell when you have a tummy ache, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And you might be avoidant of these sensations or seeking of these sensations. So, for example, there might be people that really love to taste things. Like, I am taste seeking, I like to taste things. I am avoidant of things that feel weird, right? Sensory perceptions. Um, I like moving my body around. I do not like the feeling of movement. I get seasick really easily. Okay. So these are like my resting state. How do I feel in a resting place? What are my sensations? What am I seeking? What am I avoiding? What gets easily overstimulated? What gets easily understimulated? From there, you can look at things like do you prefer routine and predictability, or do you prefer novelty and spontaneity? Maybe you're more of the routine kind of person. Maybe you're more of a novelty person. Maybe you're somewhere in between. Those are my ADHD people right there. Your fear mechanisms. What do you look like when you're afraid of something? Do you fight? Do you run away? Do you freeze and not know what to do? Or do you fawn? Oh, I don't know. I'm so sorry. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. That's fawning. Um, so that's part of understanding how you react to threat. So if somebody's confronting you, if somebody's yelling at you, do you fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Understand your mechanisms here and in which circumstances that may change. Empathy, understanding that there are different types of empathy. There's cognitive empathy. That means that you understand what other people are thinking. So think of it like chess. You're playing chess with somebody and you can anticipate their next move. I am terrible at that. I don't understand what people are thinking because I think everybody thinks the same way I do. Affective empathy is when you feel, you can understand what other people are feeling. I'm very high in affective empathy. I can understand if you tell me that you stubbed your toe, I'm like, oh, I know what that feels like. And then further, in addition to that, is somatic empathy, meaning that you actually feel it in your body. So, like, you see somebody stub their toe and you flinch because you feel it in your body. That's somatic empathy, understanding which of these that you have in which way. Um, and then there's nonverbal empathy as well. When you walk into a room and you can just kind of like feel the vibes. That's you perceiving the energy that people are emitting from themselves. Like how you can walk into a room and you know if somebody just had an argument. That's nonverbal. Understanding your social needs. How are you with friends? Do you prefer to have lots of friends, or do you prefer not to have lots of friends? Or like this would be lots, not lots of friends, and this is lots. Strangers. I love having friends. I do not love talking to strangers. I love being alone, but not all the time. So understanding that as well. It's kind of the concept of introverted or extroverted, but nobody is 100% anything. So understanding I am extroverted around my friends. I'm kind of introverted around strangers, unless I'm at my job, in which case I'm full tilt. Um, and the concept of being alone. This also helps you, if you have a partner, understanding what their needs are too. Next, once we understand where our default mechanisms are, then we can start working on our coping strategies for self-regulation. Now, the thing that you have to remember when it comes to self-regulation is moderation is key. It should not be just one or two of these things that you use to self-regulate. It should be a lot, possibly all. The more you have, the more legs on your chair exist to keep you stable. So let's zoom in a little bit. Gardening, walking, dancing, sports, exercise, that's all in the movement side of things. Stemming, hand movements, vocal stemming, echolalia, singing, bouncing, leg shaking. These are all mechanisms that you might do without even realizing it to try and regulate your nervous system. So things like skin picking or biting your nails or whatever. Food is a coping strategy. Once again, it's totally fine to help calm yourself down. Maybe you're hungry and you need some food to get rid of your hangries. That's fine. Once again, moderation. We don't want to starve ourselves and we don't want to binge. Oh yeah, stimming. I also had spinning, nail biting, hair twirling, skin picking, audio or music on repeat. I know a lot of you guys do that. Art, music, writing, painting. How do you express yourself artistically? Read. Read something that takes you. Reading is a huge form of empathy growth, especially if it's nonfiction, because you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Rest. Talking. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your therapist. What type of talking fills your cup the most? I love info dumping. I love talking to people or having people talk to me about their interests. I love learning new things. Crafts, alcohol, play, meditate, medication, romance, sex, nature, bonds like human or animal bonds, drugs, and screens. Screens are a really common way that we all regulate our nervous system. You notice when you're sitting alone and you're scrolling your phone. That's your way of regulating the awkwardness of maybe you like novelty and spontaneity, but you're in a moment where it's boring. So you regulate your nervous system with this. But if this is all you're doing anytime you're bored, then when it's not there, you're going to feel all dysregulated and you're going to get cranky, right? Same with drugs, alcohol, smoking, etc. You just don't want it to be two or three things. Like there's a lot of people that are just like, they use sex, they use smoking, and they party, and that's how they do it. And then they play with their cell phone. And that's all they got going on. That's not enough. You got to have stuff that you can do in any atmosphere to help regulate this, because once again, we're using these to keep this level. This needs to be things that we can do ourselves. We're not relying on other people. So once again, something like this, we shouldn't be jumping from partner to partner, because that's not kind to yourself. But if you want to have sex with yourself a whole bunch, go for it. Whatever. Anyway, but understanding our coping strategies. From there, the reason why this matters is meltdowns and shutdowns over time create trauma in our body. There's two types of trauma. There's the big T trauma, which is like an event, and then there's the small T trauma that's chronic, like chronic neglect, chronic out of your window of tolerance, or chronic self-suppression. Chronic self-suppression is also known as masking. Masking is an unconscious thing that we do for others. We do it for safety and security. We learn this in childhood. It's a self-suppression that over time can cause depression, anxiety, obsessive compulsive behaviors, bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder, etc., as well as other things, but not always, not always. I just want to say that, not always. But it can contribute to burnout. When burnout occurs, rest is required. You will feel exhaustion, mental distance, and decreased efficacy. I'm going to have to go into a part 3 for this last